Welcome to the Conducive Implement Podcast. I'm your host, Marquis Bay, aka K Meezy, aka Mr. Man, the Phantom King, Mr. Nobody, the ethical nihilist of pessimistic opportunism and non-dual individual singularity. You know, it's a whole lot of something, but it's expressing one thing in multiple forms. It's simple with depth. I remember I said it before, probably in a couple of my other episodes. I don't know. I don't keep up. I listen to them, but I don't really keep up. Sometimes I repeat or reform because all of these things form from the same source, which is the all, the mind. The mind is a tool. All is mind. All is a tool. All is resource. Resource. Re means again or a duplicate of source. What is source? Spirit, life force, prana, breath, air. You can go days without food, earth. You can go days without temperature regulation, fire. And you can go days without water, the ocean, or water itself. But you can't go without air. You can't stop breathing. You can feed off of the air, the oxygen, the unseen, the unknown known, the known unknown. That's a lot about air that we don't know. Air is chi. Chi is everything. It's ions. Everything is atoms. Everything is expansion. But definition or comprehension, understanding, and the lesson and the structure and the form or the masculinity comes to restrict, or not the restricted in a bad way, but it comes to limit and create boundaries for its expression or for its definition to become perfected in its imperfected, or imperfection just means unexplored. You know, there's not really anything that's really perfect except for imperfection. Imperfection is perfect because there's something that is constantly able to be upgraded and improved. What I teach or what I say, what I share with myself and you all, I learn from myself and I develop the maturity by expressing it. I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to give y'all a mantra that's real simple. We all know numbers, numerology, like the Matrix. God is a number that we can't count to. He's all numbers, right? But if he was to take form of a number, he would take form of an odd number. We would take form of an odd number as well, but it will be formed from an even. Because we all know who God is, the I am, the Christ, the Word, the spoken, the expressive reflection that has personalized fragments of himself, images of himself, mirror reflections of himself that he wants to guide and develop. He wants to develop us with character, integrity, and expansion. He guides us with his light, his help, his subtlety, his mysterious ways, you know, his hidden lessons, and even the hard lessons we learn because we are hard-headed. He know we hard-headed. He know what we're going to do before we do it. So it's up to us to accept this. And this is something I'm learning, is to accept it. Don't be afraid. I'm going to be real. When they say fear the Lord, it's not coming from a space of like, oh, just fear the Lord because it's a space of being attacked. No, it's fear the disappointment. Fear not living up to your full potential. That's what they mean by they say fear God. It's not actually meaning fear him. He doesn't want you to fear him or to be shying away from him. He's loving, he's love, he's expressing, he's tough love, all that. And he is, or what I reflect in my personal perspective, my personal experimentation, my theory becoming practice. Shout out David Goggins, is not self-exaltation, but to exalt the path. It's not about the glory or the fame or the acknowledgement or the validation of others. It's not about the external glory. So people are famous nowadays. The fame is external glory, people knowing you, seeing you, and experiencing you, and being able to see you in forms of your expression, in forms of your love, the way you express love, whether it's perverted with the misrepresentation or distortion that we call hate, envy, or jealousy. It's all stemming from the same thing. Jealousy is a form of admiration. Admiration is a form of love. Love is conducive to growth. If you love your job, you make sure you are being diligent and efficient and proficient, to have quality and speed, to give your best, to integrate with whatever you do. And this is my message to all people. The power is not just in the action itself. The power is in the words becoming integrated in the self. There's no such thing as being selfish. When people are being selfish, or they don't give back, or they don't give without the intent to get back, without the greed or the restriction of one's own heart. Your heart is all goodness. Your heart is your God. Your mind is your tool. All is mine. All is a resource. All is a tool. We are in the mind of God, reflected as the body of God. A body is a physical representation of an expression or a word or a form that becomes defined by living, being alive. Existence goes beyond this physical thing. Existence is observation or awareness. The spirit, the soul. The soul is the role and the modus operandi, or vehicle, or unseen vessel that we create consciously and unconsciously, subconsciously. We are swimming in the feminine waters of chaos, which is continual expansion, continual creation that becomes guided by the light, or should I say guided by the darkness? Because this is what I've learned. The only thing in this world that is truly perfect is darkness or evil or negativity. It's like the negativity or the chaos is perfected because it's in its purest form, being able to take any form because it has no form. But the light has form, direction, purpose, why, intent, purity, a coordination, cognition, conditioning. All these words mean the same thing. All these words are I am. That's all it is. It's no longer trying. Get rid of the word try. That's something I'm working on with myself. And I will give methods to everything I do. The more I give and dish out what I cultivate, the more I get to understand, understand, and overstand, which is the internalized external, or the external internalized. Your internal Godhead, or your internal Messiah, your internal Savior, your internal light, your internal radiance, your internal childlike self, your true self is represented by three. knowing, 1, wisdom, 2, knowing, and then acting on that knowing, being in that knowing, utilizing that knowing righteously, which is pure. To be righteous is to be pure, upright, and upstanding, diplomatic, holy, virtuous, expansive with your expression in ways that produce conducive implementation. Conducive means an outcome that is likely. An outcome that is likely, I now implement. I now take these theories or these plans or my thoughts and put them to action, to manifest. We take 1 step, he takes 2 steps for us. Like I said before, people, I used to do it myself. I used to be like, if God was real, why does he let all these things happen? It's the fact that we allow it to happen. Therefore, he allows it to happen because it's all a part of a plan. It all plays a role. We just have to be in the flow or in our optimal design. And one of the things that I've learned, and it's also a method, but it can be a tricky method, is to literally put yourself in hell. Take away the pleasure and put yourself through intentional pain for the purpose to callous your will. And this is from an interview I was watching with David Goggins. You know, him being a Navy SEAL, taking the Hell Week thing about 3 times before he actually passed it, running these marathons and really pushing himself to go past that 40% mark. Y'all heard me talk about, using 10%. So I'm about to combine this. That 40% is the capacity of the 100% that we can utilize in one moment. And then that 60% that's left over is untouched. So your mind has this, basically this barrier that is trying to protect your humanity. Remember, we are living in a human existence, or we are being in these finite time capsules, basically, or cocoons, to be on this path of becoming a butterfly. A butterfly is a perfect example of a beautiful disaster. The butterfly effect. A butterfly can flap its wings and create a tornado. Cause and effect, polarity. 1 and 2, forming a 3. The 1 is the cause. The 2 is the effect to create the effect. The effect is the how. My last episode was we are who by what, empowered by how, designed by why. Simplistic comprehension. It's all simple. Keep it simple. Don't make life hard. When you break things down in details, you break things down in simplicity. It can be inverted in any way, interpreted in any way, personalized in any way. We are all uniquely flawed, but our flaws are a representation of our perfection, or our perfected perfection, correction in progress. Our imperfections are what make us perfect, because it gives us continual upgrades. When something has one model, like an iPhone or Samsung or Android, when a company comes out with one phone and it has one model, and that one model comes out every year, nothing new, no updates, it becomes stagnant. It becomes outdated. Our misinterpretation of perfection is outdated. Everything we do is outdated. It's time to innovate a new infrastructure. innovate, right? Innovate, renovate your internal, renew yourself, baptize yourself basically to become a new creature, to become a new, to have a new form, a new modus operandi. I'm starting to like that. A new mode of operation, a new way of conditioning, a new set, a new mind to set on, or the set, some new chaos to take on this, to take on as a challenge that you choose by your free will, your free domain or dominion, your free sovereignty or your free choice. Not much of control, but you got control over yourself to either respond or react. The respond is to choose a flow, choose a frequency, to be intentional. To react is to be of the world and in the world. You got to be in the world and of the world. We're at this point and we're at this time where it's splitting. The world is splitting in two. The world is splitting in two because everybody is a one. Everybody is a one and a zero. Or I could say somebody is a one or a zero. But we're in this binary time where this continual expansion is becoming singular. And this singular line, you have to come into formation or flow and renewal with this singularity by becoming a singularity yourself. A one can only form with a one. A one and a one makes it even. Even though they're odd, it makes it even. Two wrongs can make it right if you learn from it. If you take what is necessary and discard the unnecessary. Peace, bro, God. Peace, bro, God. And yeah, so with that being said, I'm gonna move on to the next segment. I'm gonna give it a little pause. I'm thinking I should start doing like music breaks because I'll be having real long episodes, and it's full of truth, comprehensive information for people to internalize and form the ionic matter that's within all of us, which is infinite potential, the God spark in all of us, to either be in or of. Let this mind of Christ be in you. Let this mind of light be in you. Let this mind of consciousness be in you. 0 point be in you. Let this 0 point be within you, because that 0 point is God himself that's within us, that we personalize and grow with to mature. This life, or our purpose, the objective of life in itself, is to mature or mature spiritually, emotionally, and physically. All of this external shit is everything that is inside of you. It's an expression or reflection of what's inside of you, and we are inside of God, and we are reflections of Him. It's not so much of being religious, but religious means to bind. So if you are going to be religious, or if you are going to bind yourself to something, or put yourself in order or discipline with something, put yourself in a foundation of something, you have to be nobody. Do not define yourself by yourself. Let the world, let your results from this experiment. I talk about the scientific shit. What was that shit called? Damn, I'm going a lot. That's how my mind goes. That's what happens when you're a genius and you activate your genius. I want to help everybody activate their genius to become solutionaries, to activate that inner power. This is not. It's not really hard. It's discipline. It's maturity. Everything is maturity. Maturity is just the ability to handle, the ability to manage, In life, we don't control, we manage, we maintain. To maintain or manage is to be in flow, to keep it on a frequent level of input and output, to be in equal exchange and interdependent with source, to co-create with source, to be conductors of conducive implementation. And I love this shit so much. I love this so much. I love being able to express my personal, subjective, and objective analysis. Think like a scientist, act like a priest. Like I was saying, the power of three. I don't know if I'm going to make this into another episode. I'm just going to have a continuation. So this is all for the first part of episode 3, the power of 3, which is the external, internal, three-dimensional coordination, where I give you a breakdown of the misinterpreted form or surface level, mundane, worldly expression or conformed knowing or operation, modus operandi of the ego. The ego is not bad. The ego is not bad. Tune in for the next episode.